breakthrough movie Kickboxer was the textbook martial arts revenge story. Kurt Sloan watched his brother maimed by hideously deformed and evil Thai champ Tong Po. That's Michelle Kissy in makeup, amazingly. Understandably miffed, swears vengeance. And finds a mysterious old master to train him for a final avenging rematch.
I want you to teach me Muay Thai. Really?
Oh, and if the terrifying and occasionally bonkers training regime looks familiar...
That was no rubber tree, that was real. I've seen Jean-Claude kick parking meters before and make them bend.
Mon Dieu. Mercifully, things were a bit less traumatic at home. The rising star, already divorced from wife 1 and wife 2, was now settled down with 1987's wife number 3, Gladys Portuguese.
Baby, where's the picture when I met you in Mexico? Please, it's a great shot. Then you know how she look when she has no clothes.
Jean-Claude was in love very much with Gladys Portuguese through magazines. He was going through those magazines and fell in love with her.
That's her? Wow, look at that. Mrs. James Bond. Wow.
I used to do a lot for Muscle and Fitness as I was a bodybuilder at one time. At a photo shoot, he came after me. I see this guy with these black socks, brown loafers. In Spanish, you say híbaro. I don't know what híbaro means. Hick. We got to know each other, and we're stuck together ever since. Through thick and thin.
Well, apart from the odd couple of years married to wife number 4, but more of that later. Right now, time for more fighting. And 1990's AWOL, absent without leave, where Legionnaire Leon Gauthier goes, AWOL. Look at him. Crosses the Atlantic, acquires trusty if incomprehensible sidekick.
Hey, look at you. You really want to do this for me?
And fights hairy people in an increasingly impractical series of venues on LA's illegal boxing circuit.
In a film like AWOL, the fight sequences are very choreographed. If it was an accurate reproduction of street fights or pub brawls, then no one would want to watch it. You just go down your local pub and watch a couple of boozers knocking 7 bells out of each other with no finesse at all.
But this was one action star who had more to offer the world than sore testicles.
I did it and it became successful. But I get to be careful because I repeat myself. And if you repeat yourself too much, I cannot do better than Bloodsport.
One thing he did say to us was that he was fed up of being called the muscles from Brussels, which is odd because obviously he coined the term himself. And he said he'd prefer to be known as the truffle from Brussels because he thought that would sound more cerebral.
His 5th lead role? Typecast already? No way! It was time for JC, like the famed pralines of his homeland, to show the soft centre under his rock exterior.
What I did tonight, I did for my family. Not for you. Not for me.
Aha, so the only reason he's fighting is to provide for the widow and child of his brother. Murdered at the start of the picture, obviously.
This was the first time that we saw a sensitive side to Jean-Claude Van Damme. It was deliberately, I think, trying to broaden his appeal.
Of all of the Van Damme films, it is the chick flick.
J'ai beaucoup aimé ce film parce que it's my favourite. I love it because it's got a sad story. It's about a family. I'm not really a big fan of action movies, but I do like a good story.
Scenes with him and a little girl are just wonderful. They're very touching.
I know life is not too fair. And sometimes it's ugly and stupid and mean. But sometimes life is beautiful too.
When I watched that film in theaters when it first came out, I actually saw people wiping tears away from their eyes, and you don't generally see that in his movies.
Family represent for people, I believe, real connection. I have a great family. I got 3 kids. 2 boys, 1 girl. Look, was my baby when he was young. He's a believer. My son is a Jedi. In his past life, he was one of the best. And look at his toys. I show you how meticulous. Look at this. I'm going to open his armoire. He's very neat. Look at that. Look at that.
Is he like you?
No, he's worse.
Tidy. Thanks to AWOL's whopping $25 million US box office, the budget grew. And by 1991, the rising star was given a unique chance to kick his own head in. was his idea, mind.
I'm not educated, really. I mean, I've got instinct, I've got feelings, and I express my feeling and my words to very smart people I choose, and they transform that into structure.
He had an outline which he had come up with, the idea based on the Corsican brothers, the old twins and all that, and it ended up becoming Double Impact.
There's two of them.
It's very difficult when you're meant to be speaking to yourself and you're speaking to sort of a body double.
Alex, cool down. Chill out, pal.
And then you flip sides and change costumes and makeup and come back and do the other side.
Chill out.
It's a full day's work twice.
Chill out. Chill out, okay?
Before a movie, he works very hard with the dialogue coach, and you kind of don't see it because once the movie starts, it comes off very easily.
You want some advice? Take your fancy clothes and your black silk underwear and go back to Disneyland.
In case you hadn't twigged, Alex is the bad twin.
Welcome to Hong Kong.
Note, slick back hair, cigar, while Chad is fluffier, pastel-clad, a twat.
Because of my big legs and karate, I can do the splits, no problem.
Still, eventually, they manage to stop fighting each other and hitting their own girlfriends and get down to the business of seeking vengeance for their murdered parents. But the revenge formula was missing one vital new ingredient for its star's rapidly rising profile.
What else do you have in here?
Big surprise. Huge surprise.
Jean-Claude was saying, well, what if Chad has a relationship with the girlfriend of Alex? And I told him, that's a big mistake because the audience is going to hate him. And so he said, what if it's just a fantasy? And I said, now that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah, well, you see, it's this one's girlfriend. But he's angry because he's drunk and he's imagining the other two are at it like porno stars. Oh, you know, still, fair play to Jean-Claude. He knows how to keep us boys happy, as well as the ladies.
Quite graphic, really. That actually is, I think, probably one of the things that yet again distinguishes Jean-Claude Van Damme from some of the other action heroes. I mean, you don't get those kind of scenes from a Schwarzenegger movie or a Stallone movie, really.
That's my grandpa. I was his favorite. He put me on his knee. He said to me, woman like on a man, new shoes, very nice hands, nail has to be perfect, and make them laugh. And you'll get everything from them.
Oh, I didn't know you were busy.
Hey, you're next.
Really?
I think Jean-Claude Van Damme's very aware of his sexual clout and it has grown over the years.
He's a babe magnet. They swoon. Jean-Claude is, you know, it's like going out with him is like going out with the Beatles.